Alright, we're going to talk about the road to revolution, part 1. This is going to be a brief little recap of some of the topics that we covered throughout the week, last week anyway. So take a seat, enjoy the ride. Alright, I put on the movie voice for you guys. Road to Revolution, part 1. Dun dun dun! Cheesy sound effects, you know how Mr. Davis does it. Okay, let's go, let's keep going. Alright, so we have the 7 Years' War. Alright, 7 Years' War was between 1763 and 1764. Okay? 1764. So this 7 Years' War, which, to tell you the truth, was actually a 9 Years' War, had a lot of implications and impacted society a great deal. So, and we're going to see this firsthand. How heated rivalry can tear the world apart. Dun dun dun. Okay? Alright. Alright, so this heated rivalry, the 7 Years' War, was primarily between the British, you know, the British, hello lovely, the British, and the French, oui, mademoiselle, yes, between the British and the French. They have a heated rivalry. These two countries have been fighting each other for hundreds of years for power. And that's going to be a major theme of today's video here, is about power and how to gain power and the road to revolution. Dun, dun, dun. And as you guys see here from the video, you have the French guy on the left and the red, and the British guy on the left and the red, and the French guy on the right in the blue, carving up the world. It has something to do with colonies, which we'll get to, but it's all about power. Okay, let's kind of give us a little scope. I know during class, I drew England on the board, and it was really ugly and not really an accurate drawing. So this software and this technology gives me the opportunity to really draw it so you guys can see these things. So we have the United Kingdom, which is Britain, okay, and then you have France down below. They're really close to each other. These two countries, they hated each other, especially when you have countries that are that close in proximity and are trying to fight for power. It's pretty easy to develop some form of hatred for each other because you guys are so close and you're fighting for each other. Almost think of it as your arch rival, living right next door. You guys are always trying to outdo each other. Well, whether it's in sports, grades, buying items and things of that nature, you're always trying to outdo each other. And this is the situation between France and Britain at the time. Okay? So, close. Grr, rivalry. Yay. Alright? Rivalry. Alright? So, let's see here. Alright. To kind of go a little faster here because the writing on there is a little slower. The two nations, okay? The two nations, and we are talking about France and Britain, were battling each other in the 7 Years' War over power. Over power there. Primarily over, we're going to see here, they're going to be fighting over colonies. They're going to be fighting over colonies, okay? Colonies and trade, because colonies and trade go hand in hand. You have more colonies, you have more places to trade in the world, and when you have more places to trade in the world, you acquire all types of things, items, wealth, and it all goes hand in hand with each other. So, alright, so over colonies here, and okay. And trade, okay? And trading, okay? Alright, we're going to underline colonies here for a second to kind of give us a little feel for it. And colonies is a settlement in a new country or region. If you are not sure what a colony is, there it is for you. Okay? So, let's move on. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so to kind of give us a little graphic view here, we have Great Britain here. They will actually sail. This is how colonies work. They would sail over to the colonies, which were here, the 13 original colonies. They will sail there, collect resources. Okay, they would collect various resources. Okay, whether in our case, they had a lot of trees in North America. A lot of trees, a lot more resources in North America than you would find in the small island of the United Kingdom. They would take those resources, send them back to London, where they have a lot of factories and they'll actually produce goods, whether it's from various different wood products from the trees, or like they say, other resources were furs, because the hot commodity of the time were beaver fur hats. They made these elaborate hats, and they were very expensive. They were like Jordans for your head, basically. And then they will actually, since Great Britain's government actually already had some of their residents or British people actually living in the colonies, they were able to, in turn, after manufacturing the goods, they would send the goods back to the colonies and sell them. The colonists who lived there, that they only could really buy items from their country, really. So Great Britain made a lot of money from this. And remember, we've talked about the powers, or what comes with money and power. Oh my goodness, they made so much money. It's ridiculous. But this is all about power and money. And this is why colonies are important, because they give you these options. All right. So here, simply see it as, more land. It's going to give you more resources. So we're going to write that, more resources. And more resources, they're going to give you, let's see here. They're going to give you more money. Yeah, more money. And more money gives you more power. So this is a simplified way to really write it and really see things, the formula. More power. Because remember, I'm going to shove power into your brain leading up to the revolutions here. Power, power, power. All right, now let's take a look at the settlements here in North America. We're going to circle the original 13 colonies, okay? So let's write that here. I'm going to type it, actually. Britain's 13 colonies here. So these are the original colonies. And to get more resources, you want to expand. And so Britain wanted to expand from this blue region and get more land. So they want to expand for more resources, and more resources gives you what we talked about, more money. All right. But the big but in the corner here, but you have the French Louisiana. French has territory. Britain's arch rival, which they hated. They were in the way. And this is what the 7 Years War, or in the United States, we called it the French Indian War, was primarily about. These two countries fighting over power and possessions. Let me write that too. So French plus Indian War. All right. This is what it was all about. The French and Indian War. Britain wanted to expand, more resources. French was like, we no, we will not let you. And this is where the whole battle comes to play. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, I'm a doodler. I like to draw. So, just bear with me here. So, in a sense here, to kind of make long story short, because we are just basically giving you an idea of what led to the American Revolution, okay? What led to the American Revolution? The French, how should I say this? I'm sorry for people who love the French and speak French in my class, but I'm sorry, but the French lose this war. The French lose the war. Okay, not a great day for France. So the Treaty of Paris ends the 7 Years' War. As I said earlier, the French lose another war. France doesn't really, they don't really win a lot of wars. And when we look at world history, they lose wars quite often, actually. But yeah, France, they lose the war. Britain gets a lot of France's land in North America, as we're going to see here. All right, so we got the old map, which I just showed you a couple slides ago, and the new map. All right, now remember how small the land, Britain just had those colonies. They still have the colonies in this map here, but now they actually have obtained this pinkish region here. So we're going to outline all of the new land that is now under Great Britain's control. Okay? Okay, the colonists were happy. They have new land to explore for more resources, but the big but returns. Dun, dun, dun. The problem is this land has been reserved for the Indians. The British have reserved land for the Indians, and we're going to talk about this here, the proclamation line of 1763 on the next slide here. Okay, so colonists, they were happy because they had new land, but yeah, the big but came. Okay, so let's see here. All right, the proclamation line of 1763. It prevented colonists from moving west of the Appalachian Mountains. This angered the colonists because they fought in the 7 Years' War. So it's almost the equivalent if I were to allow you to build a house, but not allow you to actually live there. They were heated. They were upset at this whole idea, which makes a lot of sense. But the British, there was a method to their madness. The British set up the proclamation line of 1763 as a way to keep colonists and Native Americans from each other because they were killing each other. There was a lot of violence between the two. And so they believed that by separating the land from the colonists and the Native Americans, this could keep the level of violence down. And this is part 1 of the video. I will eventually post part 2 here, because in part 2 we're going to talk about the cost and the taxes and everything else that came into play in the road to revolution. Dun, dun, dun. Have a great day.